People should believe in what they do. Once you set your mind on something, don't let anything stop you. If you keep improving yourself, you should educate yourself, train yourself, seriously observe yourself, try to be honest with yourself, and listen to what other people have to say. After all of this, you should finally come up with a plan. This is the one you should stick to. Why do I say learning and focusing on one thing is important? Because that's what the Buddhist and Shaolin teachings are all about. We don't know what challenges this life will bring us. It doesn't matter how often it happens. You should be ready for it just in case. The kids, your spouse or your husband, want to spend time with you. But they can see that your body is there, but your mind isn't. You're just not there. This is where you start the day, because sleep is for us. You're stuck inside yourself during the winter and everything is calm and quiet. Winter, when there aren't many birds or people outside. It's cold and you're away from it all. After winter comes spring and then winter again. How are they different? For example, if you stand in front of your house in the winter and then compare that feeling to how it feels now that spring is here. The grass has slowly started to grow. The birds may have already started to sing, and more people are smiling when they leave the house than usual. You can tell that something is rising, and we need to use this kind of energy and feeling in our bodies first if we want to develop something. That's why you need to use the right techniques. Repetition is key to learning the right ways to do things. We don't know what challenges we'll face in this life, so it's always nice to know that I've already been through a lot. Sometimes people ask me why I do it. Just because it might only happen once in my life doesn't mean I shouldn't be ready for it. That's how I like my anxiety. You can always think about the monkey mind, which is when you're jumping from one thought to another. This means that you may be in touch with a lot of different branches, but it's hard to focus and concentrate on just one thing. This is why it's important to learn and focus on just one thing. This is the pure expression of what the Buddhist teachings or the Shaolin teachings are about. The point is to go deeper, and going deeper means that it will give you an insight. So what is Buddhist teaching about? It's supposed to give you insight into what's going on in your body and mind. So what's the problem with the restlessness? You don't gain insight because the monkey is always jumping and staying on that surface area too long. What this means in English is that whatever job you're doing on a normal day, you're not doing it as well as you could be. It's like when you're at work, you should focus and work. Write down your emails, but all the time, you're already like jumping around making plans for the weekend, who to call, or that you're hungry, or that you're thirsty, what movie to watch. This is how you behave when you're at work. Then afterwards, you drive home and maybe the family is waiting for you. Yeah, it's a good example, but the children, or your wife, or your husband, want to spend time with you. But they can see very clearly your body is there. Your mind is not there. You're just not present. Sometimes the question is, why do you have a wife and a husband if you don't pay them the necessary respect and attention that they, let's say, deserve, or also towards your children? Now, if you choose not to pay attention to them, that's a different story. Then the real question is why you have one family. But that restlessness can also mean that it happens unconsciously. You might not realize it, but people can tell right away if you're with them or not. And I think this is holding you back. Now, that picture of climbing that mountain or reaching that goal is holding you back because you don't do anything right. You jump from one thing to another, and even though you've touched a lot of different surfaces, you don't really know what they mean. That's why you need to believe in what you do once you set your mind on something. Don't let anyone stop you anymore. If you want to keep improving yourself, you have to actively observe yourself, be honest with yourself, and listen to what other people have to say. After all of this, you will eventually come up with a plan. Don't doubt the plan that you carefully thought out and spent weeks and months deciding whether you should actually follow it. You don't need to be skeptical or doubtful about this kind of plan. If you're still not sure, don't go on the trip. If you're still thinking, that mountain is so high, do you think I can reach the top? It looks dangerous. Don't even start weighing your risks and benefits. Do that when you still have time and space to think about whether this is really what you want. That's what those we call it are doing. 99%. For 99% of your life, you stay calm. But for that last 1%, things go wrong 99%. Like most people in the 99%, I'm very calm and relaxed. I think that will stay the same as long as I stay there. But if someone makes you be in the 1%, at least my attitude will be that way. 1% is 1%. Inside the 1%, there is no compromise of jumping back into the 99% anymore. That's why the 99% is so big. You have time to think about what you're willing to do, what you're willing to sacrifice, and what is it worth fighting for. This is the 99%, and inside the 1%, there is no compromise. You decide to walk the path, and then here's what I relate to, this idea of that skeptical doubt you shouldn't have anymore when we talk about virtues or guiding principles. For example, if we talk about gratitude or thankfulness, there are people whom you would say, he's a thankful person, while others would say, he doesn't have it. You know that one of your friends will always be there for you, even when you do something wrong. He was always your friend, but your other friends were having problems because they were afraid and ran away. So why do some people have this attitude and others don't? I don't think it's something that you were born with. Then again, some people do have it and others don't. If it's not something that you are born with, then there must be a way to develop it in a person. Now imagine that you are the being who is going to make the perfect human in the world. What kind of behavior and attitude would that person have? Respecting his life, your life, the life of everyone and everything alive, and showing gratitude makes sense. Being thankful is also a good way to build something. Having patience and the right amount of willpower can help when things go wrong and you don't know what to do. Having enough courage to go in the dark, even if you haven't been there before, is another virtue. I just mentioned that if you practice the Shaolin arts in the Shaolin temple, you learn what are called the virtues of martial arts. Depending on how deep you go, there may be 10 or 14 virtues. This isn't something unique to the Shaolin temple. It's something that many other cultures have done. For example, the Japanese had a codex that told them how to behave, which is why it's called a guideline. It's a guideline you put on yourself. You keep on the mind it's an idol, but it's not an idol of another person who lives out there. The idol is yourself, but the best version of yourself, this is the best idol. And so, what you need to do every day is simply, okay, did I behave at the moment as a thankful person? The way how I just talked to him or her right now, was that a respectful way of talking to him or her? Or the way how I handled the situation right now, was I courageous or not? Once you have such guidelines, then we think it is a way how you can improve your character in such a way that you bring out a very gentle and nice person about yourself. You're going to benefit from it. People around you are going to benefit from it. This is what you can do if you want to change the world. Change yourself first. Change the way how people around you feel. Then already you have made small impact. You don't need to change the world, trying to fix the problems on the other side of the world. If at the moment you still have a lot of issues in your very close surroundings, no problem, you can donate. If somewhere is an earthquake, I'm not talking about this. Talking about really the approach to keep up this mirror in front of you and watch yourself and stop blaming people, like always searching for an excuse, searching for somebody why he did this and he did that and they are all responsible. I feel so bad. Well, they don't feel bad. You feel bad, so it's nothing that they have a problem. You have the problem. So in very simple terms, I had many teachers who always taught me, think first, then do. Think first. I'm not under pressure. I don't put myself under pressure. And because I'm not under pressure, that's why I can just look inside myself and see if I have the answers or not, because sometimes I don't have answers to everything. So if I just directly reply, because I want to replay, it's not the way how I do it, and it's not the way what I think how you should do it, because it's very subjective. To answer your question, it's very subjective right now. Everything I'm saying in this interview and the 50 interviews before this one is not my invention. Other people have talked about it before me and are talking about it now. In the future, people will talk about it and change the way they speak and the words they use to fit the needs of their culture. But what are they talking about? They're just observing this life. I don't need to reinvent it or think about what answer you or other people want to hear. I just need to answer your question. To do that, I just need to look inside this life and see what kinds of experiences I've had. What kinds of situations did I have, or see other people in which I could observe the answer to your question. For example, when I try to think or stay calm, this is what I try to picture in my mind. Then I just tell you what I see or what I observe. You realize that a lot of the time, you can tell the difference between people who know and those who don't. Those who know feel like they're not telling you the truth or these methods, so I can only share with you what my experience has taught me. That's why I don't always have all the answers. Before you start to share something wrong with a lot of people, it's better to say you don't know.